As you no doubt know, as students, sometimes you need access to more credit than you have at hand. And then you have to borrow that money from another source. For example, you might loan money from the government in order to pay for your degree in the hope that in the long run it'll be worth it because you might earn a higher wage. But what if you couldn't be guaranteed a higher wage? So if you're in a situation where you need to loan money, for example, to pay the costs of a funeral, to pay the cost of a health bill that may come up in a time when you're really least expecting it, for the people who have no access to good credit ratings or no access to friends and family with money, they may end up borrowing money from loan sharks. This is a really huge problem in many parts of the world where people have very low incomes.
Welcome to downtown Jakarta. We're making a film on finance in Indonesia. One would think that we would normally start with these tall buildings behind us representing the financial centres of Indonesia. When we think about finance, we often think about men in pinstripe suits walking down Wall Street, or the central part of Jakarta where all of the main financial institutions are. But instead, we're going to leave this part of Indonesia and fly out to Yogyakarta to investigate some different forms of finance in the form of credit associations called Arisan.
Arisan is basically collecting same amount of money from several people, usually starting from 5 to 10 people at least, and then they will collect the same amount of money, and they will do a draw every month, so everyone gets the same amount of the collected pot of money. The rule of the game, we have to finish the round. So everybody have to really have a commitment to give the money or to give the money and to collect it together. Arisan also provide a platform for gathering for people and also for the community, especially women.
Juga ada materi yang terutama itu sebenarnya pertemuan PKK itu kita itu ingin mendapatkan materi gitu loh, materi tentang ya kesehatan, tentang ilmu apapun gitu di kegiatan PKK ini. Tapi ada sering-seringannya seperti arisan seperti itu juga sering.
The most important, they have the event to gather and to talks and share what they've been doing for a month, which is a rare opportunity for women. They already have work and have other activities. Every semester they have to pay quite a lot of money, so that's why it's become the source of financial support. They have to pay back the money, so it's negotiable also. It depends on the available cash also to make sure that there is enough money to be borrowed to other people. In Indonesia, mostly women do this kind of activities, and it depends. It can be money or it can be goods such as gold or other things. Arisan will become the source of financial support without any interest to pay.
Terus setelah kemarin jadi permasalahannya belum punya itu, masalahnya ya banyak sekali. Ada akses jalan yang belum ada, karena ya geografinya seperti inilah. Kami sangat sulit untuk kesulitan untuk membuat akses jalan sampai ke rumah-rumah warga lah seperti itu. Tapi kalau sekarang ya sudah alhamdulillah lumayan, sudah banyak rumah yang tidak terisolir lah sekarang. Kalau terkait arisan jamban itu awalnya begini, karena warga kami itu memang masuk kakak ya perekonomiannya itu perekonomian miskin. Jadi tapi di sini masih kental dengan budaya gotong royong. Jadi karena kalau bikin sendiri, misalkan ada salah satu kakak yang miskin mau bikin jamban sendiri, misalkan harus beli kloset, beli semen, beli yang itu untuk safety tank itu, bis, gorong-gorong dan peralatan yang lain itu misalkan ya kurang mampu lah. Jadi terus timbul angan-angan dari yang belum itu kita mengadakan arisan jamban seperti itu. Kalau awal-awalnya dulu 1 bulan sekali.
Sekali beberapa kakak ngaten ya.
Beberapa kakak bikin beberapa kelompok, kan sini kan ada 5 kelompok satu dusun. Jadi setiap kelompok itu
Punya berapa
punya
rumah?
itu terus arisan seperti itu. Terus bangunnya nanti juga bersama-sama. Karena misalkan yang satu keluarga itu tenaganya cuman perempuan saja kan, kalau bikin lubang ya nggak bisa, pasang semen nggak bisa. Jadi gotong royongnya itu sampai tenaga bangun seperti itu.
That's 1 million only to build that square.
Wow.
Including with the the closet.
So as we've discussed throughout this video, there are lots of reasons why people might want to access finance but not go through the banks and not be charged interest rates or other exorbitant fees. These forms of rotating credit associations are actually common in many parts of the world, not just in Indonesia, but they have been found in Africa, Asia, Europe, Latin America. And they continue to be a critical financing tool in the majority world, in the developing world. And despite the so-called modernization of countries like South Korea and Taiwan, they still endure in many of those countries as well. So rotating credit associations are one way of thinking about how we might do finance differently in a very simple arrangement. With the rise of digital technologies, we've had other forms of peer-to-peer financing become popular all over the world. You may have heard of organisations such as ZOPA, ZOPA standing for Zone of Possible Agreement, where lenders can set their terms and borrowers can set what they would like to achieve in terms of interest rates and loan period, and they can be matched digitally to lenders from other parts of the world or other parts of the country in order to borrow for small amounts or large amounts for projects that they might be starting. Kickstarter is another form of crowdfunding where you have forms of peer-to-peer finance where people are contributing small amounts of money in order to get something off the ground. Since 2009, Kickstarter has had more than 20,000 creative projects that have been funded to a total of US $200 million for projects. So quite an amazing achievement for something that's outside of the banking system. Other forms of this sort of finance go beyond just reaching your peers and neighbours and people that you might know. Kiva is an organisation that started in 2005, which uses the internet to facilitate investment by people in the minority world or the so-called developed world into the majority world or so-called developing world. These kinds of not-for-profit financial institutions are set up to work as kind of international microfinancing. So people in the majority world who have a good idea for setting up some kind of business can access loans from people in the minority world who would like to help out more directly with projects that they are interested in, rather than going through the route of large non-governmental organisations that then have to charge an administrative fee. What the point of this video has been to show is that financing doesn't just come through the World Bank, financing doesn't just come through aid organisations and bilateral funding, but financing can be something that is outside of those large-scale banking systems, outside indeed of even the capitalist system, and can work to directly improve people's access to credit at the community level beyond what we might see in other forms of financing.